Oh, yo, I got two viewers. Who's in here? Who's in here? Put your name in the chat. I'm gonna try and get at least five, y'all. I am a small channel, but let me try and get at least five. I'm gonna start it officially. We could talk playoffs. We could talk Giants. Whatever you guys want. You know what I'm saying? Put your names in the chat. Put your name in the chat. What's up, Rafael De Luna? If I butchered your name, my bad. Let me know. Let me know. Ah, damn, we lost the viewer, guys. There's only one viewer in here now. Raphael, I hope it's you. Ah, man. Whatever you guys want to start talking, bro. I got my first one, and I say guys as if there's more than one, but we got Jimmy G and the Vikings we could start talking about. You know what I'm saying? I literally just noticed my chat box ain't working. I'm wondering why. Let me see this real quick. Well, damn. The chat box don't want to work for some reason. Let's see something right here. Alright, so now it looks like it's working and popped up there. Alright, Raph, you think it's going to be a close game? You won't be surprised if the Viking win. You know what? Why not start? I got one viewer in here. You know what, Raphael? Thank you for being in here, bro. To be honest, I actually expected zero viewers. Like, y'all already know, I'm a very small channel and never went live before. So it's not like I expected to have any type of audience. But once again, thank you for being here, man. With this game, this is a really interesting matchup for me. The 49ers are one of three teams in the playoffs right now that I think overachieved a little bit. You know, that's just my opinion. I think they overachieved a little bit. And they're certainly a good team. They have a great defense, much like the Vikings do. The Vikings, you know, recently their defense started picking up, playing like their 2017 self. But I just don't believe in the 49ers, man. And that's it's not even like me saying I don't believe in their offense because they have a good offense. They have one of the best running lineups, you know, in my opinion, one of the best running backfields in the NFL. But it's just that it's what I had with the Vikings before I saw them play the Saints game. Jimmy G just needs to prove himself to me. That's just my opinion. I think the Vikings should win this game. Not could. I think that they should win this game because they're a better team. Like, more of the Vikings players on that team, you know, you could argue as a whole, everybody on that team has playoff experience versus not that many on the 49ers. So the Vikings definitely have that going for them. But I think, and this is very unpopular opinion, I think Kirk Cousins right now is a better quarterback than Jimmy G. And I think this game is going to come down to the quarterback because the teams are very similarly built. Both have great defenses. I think this year the 49ers may have had, like, you know, statistically a better defense than the Vikings, but it's really close. Both have really good running back or rushing attacks. They have really good receivers, although you could I will definitely give the Vikings the edge on the receiver side of things. and whatnot. And yeah, I think the Vikings should win this one though. Let me know, which one do you guys like better? Do you like this one better or this one better? I think I'm gonna go with the just chatting one, cause I don't know, it just looks cleaner. Let me change the font back. Put the font back to white. Bam. Yeah. Alright, who's in here right now? Is it still Raph? Did you hear my little spiel on why I think the Vikings should win? Let me know, let me know. Hopefully we could get like at least 5 viewers in here, otherwise it's just me and you, man. And that's okay too. I bet. I'll keep it at just chatting. So, did you hear my Viking spiel? Let me know. Otherwise, I could quickly run back over it. But I think the Vikings should win this one. You know, they just have. It's two very evenly matched teams. But I think they have the edge on the quarterback position and the wide receiver position. And everywhere else, you could honestly, like, line it up equally. Okay, I see you say Vikings win 28-24. And by the way, I'm guessing there's a delay in the stream somewhere. You know, because it's YouTube and I'm running through Streamlabs. I'm not running through YouTube directly. So there's going to be a bit of like maybe like a 10 to 15 second delay of the stream. But Vikings 28-24, I can see that happening. I think it might be a bit lower scoring just because of how defense heavy these teams are. Maybe something like, I want to say 24-21, maybe. But yeah, 28-24, I could definitely see the Vikings going. How about, oh, yo, Raph, what's your opinion, yo? Did you think that the Saints got robbed in the wild card round by the Vikings? Let me know. In my opinion, they did not. That's just me. I think it was a very clean game. I think the NFL did all that they could to make it a very fair game. You know, they had a mixed referee crew and everything. Yes, there was like a couple of questionable calls, but I wouldn't say anything outright like last year. In my opinion, you know, it was a very it was a very fair game, and I think they lost, you know, fairly. You know, I don't know what else to say, but uh, I don't see a lot of Saints fans getting up in arms about it because a lot of them realize that, hey, we shouldn't have been in that position in overtime anyway. They were like double-digit favorites and all that, and the Vikings came in. They simply played better football. They were better coached. And I think that's what really brought it down to decide the game. It was better coaching, better play calling all around. And there's people arguing about the touchdown, you know, touchdown that won the game. Yo, look, listen. While it is funny that the NFL will put out a statement saying the defender did not look at the ball and he initiated contact. Are you talking about the touchdown, the last touchdown play? Because the call, what they're saying is they're saying it should be OPI. So you're saying the defender didn't look at the ball and he initiated contact. So are you saying it should have been some type of DPI or whatnot? I'm kind of confused with that. You know, people are saying it should have been OPI because of the push off. I think what you're saying is because the defender initiated contact and then the push off, maybe it would have been offsetting or something. I'm not sure. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. Or that's what I'm interpreting at least. Both players contacted each other. Yes, yes. Okay, good. Big brain time. At least I interpreted it correctly. Yeah, I agree with you there. The listen, I thought it was funny that the NFL put out a statement saying they were consistent all year, because if there was anything more inconsistent with the NFL this year, it was that call. But in that situation, yes, that is something that they haven't called all year, when there's like hand fighting between the defender and the offensive player. So I agree with you there. It should have been a no call. And really, it just comes down to the rule being not even a good rule. The refs not, basically not even, I guess you could say, refereeing it or policing the rule properly and whatnot, which is what it comes down to, really. If you want to call it a controversy, like I said, in my opinion, the Vikings won fair and square, played a better game, this, that, the third, all that. But yeah, I agree with you, man. There should have been a no call, and I agree with the no call. For Saints fans out there who may never come across this video, you guys, listen. Low key, very, very low key, I'm kind of a Saints hater, just because I think they whine a lot, the fans. But this goes way back. I think I said this in my Viking Saints reaction video. Since I was a kid, I never really liked the Saints, because anytime they went up against a team, it was either up against my favorite player, like when I was younger, Adrian Peterson. Yeah, it was mostly up against my favorite player as a kid, which was Adrian Peterson. I think it was an NFC Championship game 10 years ago and stuff like that. It was always Vikings Saints. This rivalry goes way back, and I just never liked the Saints since then. And then obviously the past couple of years, with it just being not exactly, the best losers when it comes to things, the Saints. But yeah, going back to Vikings 49ers, one thing I'm looking forward to seeing, do you think Stefon Diggs will be more involved in this game than he was in the Vikings Saints game? Because I could pull up the stat right now, but just watching the game, I think he only had maybe one target or two targets throughout the entire thing, or one reception. I could be wrong, but Stefon Diggs was not targeted heavily during the wildcard game. If I could just pull it up right now. I believe they will try to get him more involved now, because the last thing you want is a disgruntled wide receiver that's one of your best on the team. Yeah, right now it says he had 2 receptions for 19 yards, and they were both very, very late in the game. I think that they might try and involve Diggs a bit more. What about you? They should move things around knowing that Sherman doesn't travel. Alright. I actually did not know that this year. Sherman doesn't travel, so he's kinda like in that Janoris Jenkins type of situation. where they keep him on one side of the field, I'm guessing. Listen, they got Diggs and Thielen. They could really do this with anybody, but wow, I didn't know that. If Sherman actually doesn't travel, yeah, definitely get Diggs involved a bit more. Why not, you know? You know what, Raph? I've been trying to figure out the past 15 minutes how to set a moderator. Congrats, bro. You're my very first moderator on the channel. I have no idea what it does except for, you could put users in timeout and stuff, but yeah, I hope it shows up somehow. Type something else. Let me see if it pops up as a moderator, because it says you're a moderator on my stuff. But welcome to the moderator crew. Hopefully we get more people. Bah, my son Raphael is now a moderator. The wrench is there, wrench crew. Nice. You know what? I guess we could switch topics since we kind of covered Vikings 49ers. Let me just change this picture real quick. Next up is Titans versus Ravens, which could be either a slaughter or it could be an interesting game, to say the least. Michaels 2XX, what is up? How are you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Hope you stay a little bit. We're just getting into talking about, oh man, wrong thing. We were just getting into talking Titans-Ravens. I'm just trying to change the picture real quick. Streamlabs is being a little difficult. Bam, the picture is there. Let me just resize. And here we are, yo. Titans-Ravens. What do you guys think about this? Before I get into my thing, what do you guys think about Titans-Ravens? Like I said, it could be a slaughter or it could be very interesting. Put it in the chat. What do you think about this? We got a third viewer in there. Michael Raphael, who is the mystery third viewer? I wonder. But Michael, once again, welcome to the stream, man. Thank you for tuning in. All that. I was telling Raphael earlier, I was not expecting anybody. And my goal for the stream was 5. 2 more people and we can hit 5 viewers, yo. Let's get it, guys. In my personal opinion, I really think that, I think it's quite obvious. The Ravens should win this one. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Midwest Sports? How are you doing? What is up? What is up? Midwest Sports, that name is very familiar. Are you ever on either the Entertainers channel or Kid Blues channel? Let me know. I feel like I've seen that name somewhere before. Lamar Jackson all day, Michael 2XX. I completely agree. Raph says, I think the Ravens win by 2 scores. The Ravens offense is hard to plan for since you don't know who's going to run the ball. I completely agree with you, especially since they're not even sure yet if Mark Ingram's going to be in the game, right? They might just go with Gus Edwards, and then even when, they're not actually using their running backs, you got Lamar freaking Jackson to worry about. Let me check up, see if there's any update on Mark Ingram's injury right now. Okay, it says as of the 9th, which was yesterday, he's expected to play according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Obviously, we don't know how much that's actually going to happen. But I agree with Michael and Raph. Listen, the Titans, they're kind of on a nice little Cinderella story right now, and I would love to see them continue. Personally, I love to see the underdog and just like the dark horse that nobody ever thinks about come on out there and go, beat some, really giants of teams and get their win. Especially because the Titans never had a Super Bowl before, so it would be great to see that for them. I love Derrick Henry and all that, but I'm also a very big Ravens fan this year, or I guess you could say, and I'm not even jumping on the bandwagon. I just like the way they play football. I like the way Lamar has played football this year, and I was not a Lamar fan last year. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I never thought that he would develop into what he is right now. I think we all know that he's definitely the MVP to say the least, or the MVP frontrunner. I don't think there's any competition there. But I'm not ashamed to admit that I wasn't a fan of him last year. And the way he turned it around, I don't know, or the way he improved, so to say. It's not like he was doing terrible last year. The way he improved, and the amount of like training he did in the offseason and all that to show the world, show all the doubters, including myself, that he's a legitimate threat in this NFL world. He's a legitimate quarterback. I respect it a lot, and I respect what the Ravens are doing on their offense and all that, because it's honestly like something you've never seen before. And even with all their marquee players on defense gone, Donwick Markindale is still doing a tremendous job on that defense side, which is part of the reason I wanted him for the Giants. So I just want I want the Ravens to go on a Super Bowl run. So this is a really interesting matchup for me. And Midwest, I spot you there. He's on both streams sometimes. Nice. Michael, I got the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. I agree with you. In my opinion, the Ravens are the best team in the playoffs right now. When we get to the Packers, Packers Seahawks? Yeah, when we talk about Packers Seahawks, I'm gonna mention how I think there's 3 fake teams in the playoffs. I talked a little bit earlier how I think the 49ers are kind of a fake playoff team just because I don't believe in Jimmy G, and that's a take that's not exactly uncommon right now. I need to see him prove that he could be a playoff quarterback and win a big game, just like how I need to see Kirk Cousins prove it, which is the reason I'm choosing Kirk Cousins and the Vikings to win this divisional round game. And it's no hate towards 49ers or anything, you know what I'm saying? Tennessee almost won Super Bowl 1 yard short. Oh yeah, the famous 1 yard short play got tackled. Was that against the Rams? That wasn't against the Rams, was it? Tennessee Rams? Let me know. But I remember seeing that all the time in all types of NFL lists. But yeah, Tennessee, they got to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, never won a Super Bowl. Would love to see them get one. Where was I? Yeah, that's the reason I kind of picking Vikings over 49ers. Another team that I think definitely overachieved this year, the Green Bay Packers. And then there's the Seattle Seahawks, which I'll get into when I get to those games. But right now, the preview for Titans versus Ravens. The Titans have a very interesting defense, to say the least. The Titans defense, I think it's top 10 statistically, but it's never one of those talked about defenses in the league. You know what I'm saying? They always do well every year. They're always good against everything, both pass and run. You know what I mean? But they're not talked about that much. They're just a good defense. They don't even have, those marquee players I mentioned before. They don't have a star player on their defense. And if they do, it's something only like Titans fans or hardcore football fans would know. So that would be something really nice to see. And also, an interesting fact that I read this morning on a tweet, I cannot remember for the life of me. Y'all know me. If I do use a source, I always put it out there. But I read this in a tweet. It was like the last time the leading NFL rusher went head-to-head with the leading NFL rushing team, it was the rusher that came out on top. And in this case, the leading NFL rusher is that man on the screen, Derrick Henry. And the leading NFL rushing team is Lamar Jackson's team, the Ravens. So anything could happen, man. Any given Sunday, the Titans are the one coming in with a head of steam, which is, wild card teams, they honestly have the advantage of coming in hyped up, coming in, already stretched out, already warmed up. They already have a bunch of energy behind them. That's their advantage. Obviously, the bye week teams, their advantage is they got rest and they have more time to prepare. But Titans could very well knock off the Ravens. I'm not saying it would happen. I'm just saying it could happen. Because my Super Bowl pick is the Ravens. Same as Michael over here. My Super Bowl pick is the Ravens. What do you guys think? Do you see an upset happening, or am I reaching? Am I being a YouTuber and just reaching for a title? Or is it very possible that an upset could happen? By the way, guys, if anybody else in here wants a wrench, just let me know. I got no problem giving out wrenches. You know what I'm saying? If you want one, just type wrench. That's it. Cowboy X Factor, what is up, my guy? Cowboy X Factor, guys, this is one of the best supporters on my channel. What's up, man? Dude is a great guy. Welcome to the stream. I think we hit my goal of 5 viewers. I think right now it shows 5 viewers. Well, actually, it still shows 3, but welcome, Cowboy X Factor. Michael says, I was hoping Marcus Mariota would become a franchise quarterback one day, but he's not. Sad emoji. Listen, Marcus Mariota, I actually thought that he would become a franchise QB. I thought, like, out of the 2015 draft. Wait a minute. Isn't Ryan Tannehill also from the 2015 draft? Am I bugging? Or I'm pretty sure Ryan Tannehill is a 2015 quarterback, right? That's kind of weird. That's kind of funny. Let me check. I'm like 90% sure. Ryan Tannehill. He was drafted. Why isn't it showing when he was drafted? Oh, nope. I am completely wrong. He's a 2012 quarterback. My bad. I don't know why I was thinking he's a 2015 quarterback. But, yeah. Getting back to Marcus Mariota, he came out of the draft with Jameis, and everybody thought Jameis was going to be that dude, but then turns out, you know, he has all the talent in the world, all the physical ability in the world to be that dude, but he's just not mentally there. Then, you know, Marcus Mariota, he was doing good for a while. I remember in 2016, didn't the Titans make the playoffs in 2016 and 2017, or maybe it was one of those years, and people were starting to really get behind him. They were saying, all right, the Titans, they're doing something over here. Marcus Mariota maybe could lead them, especially, you know, you got back-to-back Heisman winners in him and Derrick Henry leading the team. Then, unfortunately, people start to realize it's like Jekyll and Hyde. You know what I'm saying? One game you'll have a good Marcus Mariota that could play up to his Heisman Trophy winning days. And another game, you got the Marcus Mariota that got himself benched, the one that can't really complete a pass and is inaccurate as hell and basically can't play quarterback at a starter level. So it's really sad to see that happen. I mean, 2015 quarterback class is just sad. I don't think there's any good ones out there. And I could be completely wrong. Yeah, Cowboy X Factor, yeah, I just saw it. Tannehill was from RG3 and Andrew Luck draft class. Is it strange how Ryan Tannehill beats Tom Brady, but Marcus Mariota can't? You know what? Actually, it's not strange because Tannehill beat Tom Brady back when he was in Miami, like, a couple times, at least once a year. Isn't it? Like, wasn't that like a running joke? You know, anytime the Patriots went down to Miami, they'd lose to the Dolphins. Well, Tannehill was the QB there, and I'm pretty sure he beat Brady a couple times. And this year, the Patriots were noticeably weaker than any year before, so it's not too much of a surprise. What is a surprise is that he straight up took that man's job, and if he does well, I guarantee you, he doesn't have to win against the Ravens to keep his job. He just has to do well with them. He just has to stay in the game with them. And Tannehill is like the QB next year for the Titans. Like, without a doubt, that's what I believe. What do you guys think? Michael, are you a Titans fan, by the way, or were you just hoping to see him become a franchise QB just because you like them, you like them as a player and whatnot? Oh, I get what you said there, but I meant on the Titans, one guy doing it and the other one not so much. Or are you like saying like it's strange how they basically both had the same team and one could do it with that same team, one couldn't. I know Ryan Tannehill was part of the Miami Miracle last year. Yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. In that case, I'm on the same sentiment with you, Cowboy X Factor. Yeah, the only difference in the two teams, in the one that beat Brady and the one that didn't beat Brady, was quarterback, and Mariota for some reason couldn't use his tools on the team that was the same one that beat Brady. Like, it's very hard to express what I'm trying to say, but I completely understand what you're saying. Michael says, no, I'm a Giants fan, but I'm an Oregon Ducks fan for college. Oregon Ducks. Oh, Michael, can you tell me a little bit about Justin Herbert then? Because last year, back when everybody thought he was coming out in the draft, everybody or most Giants fans wanted Justin Herbert. Put a little bit in the chat why. I don't watch college football that much. I would love to know why. Rafael DeLuna says, I think our boy Danny Dimes is a franchise QB. He just needs to work on fumbling and reading defenses. I completely agree with you, Raf. And I say this as a joke, but if it would be great if it actually happens. Yo, whoever worked with Lamar Jackson last offseason, come work with our boy Danny Dimes. Because people seem to forget, Lamar, he didn't have a fumbling problem per se, but he did fumble quite a bit in his rookie year. And this year, he has like 0 fumbles or something like that. Or whoever, you know what, you could stay in-house. Whoever Saquon works with, because this guy's fumbled like twice in his entire career, Daniel Jones, please hit up that trainer and start working with him. As soon as Danny Dimes gets his pocket awareness down and fumbling issues down, he's already like a top 10 QB in my opinion. And you could completely call that bias. I won't even argue with you, because of course there's a bit of bias in there. He's my quarterback, But that's gonna take a little time, like, especially the pocket awareness part. That's what Eli did better, even up until the Miami game, and that's plays part of the reason as to why the offensive line performance went down. I'm not saying the offensive line performed worse because Daniel Jones stepped in. No, not that. But I am saying in certain situations they're less prepared to block with Daniel Jones back there because he doesn't have the knowledge and the same type of confidence and cadence that Eli had with those offensive linemen. It's hard for me to express what I'm saying, but when you're in games and you look at it, or you just look at it intently on the TV screen, you can see that a very experienced quarterback gathers his offensive line better rather than a inexperienced one. And I have no doubt in my mind Daniel Jones will get that down eventually. Who do you want for the Giants OC? Jason Garrett. I forgot what that emoji is, but I actually don't know. Listen, the dream offensive coordinator for me would be Matt Nagy, but he's not leaving the Bears anytime soon, in my opinion. He will be great. He went to the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky, for crying out loud, and this guy is an offensive genius. He thinks himself out a little bit, but he's still an offensive genius. Another dream situation, which I spoke about a little bit in all of my Pat Shurmur ranting videos, was in fact the guy himself, Pat Shurmur. I was like, I know it's not going to happen. There's no way it is going to. Thinking emoji, that's what it's called. Yeah. Like, there's no way it is going to happen just because that's completely unrealistic. But Pat Shurmur would be a good offensive coordinator. Jay Gruden out there, I would like to have Jay Gruden because, well, he's out of a job right now, and I don't see him to have any reason to turn down the Giants. He wanted to work with Daniel Jones. That's been pretty much all but confirmed by the man himself that he wanted to work with Daniel Jones. I think he'll have a good time working with Saquon Barkley because he helped revive Adrian Peterson's career a little bit in Washington and whatnot. So Jay Gruden is another person I would like. Jason Garrett, I would have to go back and look at some of Garrett's, some of the Cowboys games back when Garrett was actually calling plays and he was actually the offense coordinator before I make a decision on that. But I wouldn't mind it because I think everybody knows Garrett is a better OC than he is head coach, like, a lot of people out there. So I wouldn't mind Jason Garrett, but I'll definitely have to go and look at some old Cowboys game before I completely come out and say, yeah, sure, why not? You know what I'm saying? Somebody else, obviously, that's been in the talks recently, Freddie Kitchens. I didn't make a video on it, I think, because, I don't think I made a video on it. And I didn't make a video on it because it hasn't been confirmed whether he's coming in or they want to bring him in as a OC or whether they want to bring him in as some type of assistant or whatnot. I would take Wade Phillips as defensive coordinator for the Giants, says Raphael. I agree with you. I wouldn't mind Wade Phillips. In fact, Wade Phillips would probably be the home run hit, especially when it comes to experience. I really believe that we need an old experienced, at least one old experienced offensive or defensive coordinator in that staff right there, in that coaching staff, not only to help our players develop, but to help our coach develop. I have some confidence in Joe Judge after that introductory press conference. And I think it's all about him getting the players to buy in, but he also has to grow as a coach. He seems to be good. Haven't seen him coach yet, but he definitely still has a lot to learn. And I think Wade Phillips or somebody of that caliber could teach him a lot. He's okay, but I think Marcus Mariota is more talented coming out the draft than Justin Herbert, to be honest. Cresley Thomas, if I'm mispronouncing your name, please let me know. Just got here. I'm liking Joe Judge. I'm with you. I'm liking him. But I'm completely holding off judgment until like week 1 of the NFL season. I know that's a long time away. I'm not saying that because like I hate him or anything, but it's just because I need to see him. Coach a game first. But I'm liking him so far. Automatically, he carries himself better than Pat Shurmur. He has a swagger and confidence about him that I love. So there's that. Michael, thank you for the information on Justin Herbert that I asked about. He is, I was mispronouncing it. Okay, Thames. I actually misread it also. Can you, Cresley? Can you, put, how I could pronounce it? Krez. Or Krez? Let me know if that's right. Michael, so if Marcus Mariota was a bit more talented, what was all the hype about? Do you know anything about that, or is it just that, last year's quarterback class wasn't the best, and, he happened to be one of the better ones? It could just be that. What do you think about the 4-3 versus the 3-4? I personally like the 4-3 more because it's what I grew up with watching football. I grew up with OC, Strahan towards the end of his career, Justin Tuck, JPP at the beginning of his career, all that, right? So I like the 4-3 more just because it's what I'm used to. And actually, I like the 4-3 more also because I like bigger pass rushers. In the 3-4, you need more agile linebackers to be your pass rushers, and they rely a lot more on speed and a lot more on hand movements rather than power rushing. So offensive linemen. And in my opinion, I prefer the power rushers because it's more of a sure thing. And there's literally no evidence backing up this. It's just in my mind because I don't know. It's just in my mind that a power rusher has a better chance to get the quarterback because he's actually getting past the offensive lineman. And, he's running at them, gunning for them, looking like he's about to kill them. That's what I grew up with, and that's what I prefer to 4-3. But in the back of my mind, I know it all depends on personnel on a team. It all depends on who you have on your team and who's coaching them. You know what I'm saying? It never comes down to whether a defensive is failing because of the scheme that they're in, rather the coaching that they're in. I'm liking the 4-3 because we have that pass rush, but we have to be better in the backfield. I completely agree with you. And I'm kind of torn right now on whether we should take a cornerback in this draft coming up because we essentially just drafted an entire backfield in the past 2 drafts combined. And part of me wants to see this backfield grow and see how they develop. Another part of me still wants us to sign some guy in the offseason or, draft some dude in, one of the first 3 rounds or something because our backfield it's bad right now. You know what I'm saying? We have potential in guys like Julian Love, who I still think should be shifted back to slot cornerback because he plays it way better than he plays free safety. We got potential in DeAndre Baker, who started to come on a little bit towards the end of the season. Sam Beal, people say they see potential in him. I really just see him as maybe a backup corner at best. I'm not sure what happened to Grant Haley this year, if he was injured or something, but he kind of disappeared throughout this year. Corey Ballantyne seems to be a great special teams player. Maybe he could prove me wrong and be something else, but yeah, I still think there's room to get another cornerback. It's just that there's more pressing issues right now. Like we definitely need a offensive lineman and a pass rusher. Do you watch other Giants YouTubers beside Entertain a Bad Dog and Kid Blue? Do you watch Fist Vegas? Yes, I do watch Fist Vegas. Fist Vegas was one of the dudes that inspired me to get my channel up. And in fact, 3 of the 4 people you listed there, cause and this is no disrespect to Bad Dog. I do watch Bad Dog's channel. I love what he puts out. It's just that Entertain the Kid Blue and Fist Vegas inspired me to do my channel, and I kind of model my videos a little bit after Fist Vegas and a little bit after Mike Too Nice. You know, with the one background, a static background that I edit a little bit, the little title bar at the bottom, which I guess I took from like stuff like, you know, First Things First and whatnot. But the music in the background I really got from Fist Vegas, because I'm like, I don't want people to just be listening to my voice. I do watch Fist Vegas. In addition to that, I watch Ron Effect. I watch this channel called Bleed Big Blue, who really, they only do live streams now, which is kind of sad. I also watch Sports Fury and Chat Sports. Chat Sports I watch more so for basketball and stuff, but, you know, they're still up there. What position would I target in free agency? I'd go pass rusher because it's looking like we're not going to get anybody in the pass rusher within the first round. And if you're taking a pass rusher in the draft, they're a very sure thing in the first round. Yes, you could find a gem beyond that, but in my opinion, pass rusher is one of those things where it's very sure if you see them. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's one of the easier roles to, you know, translate to the NFL from college. And so since it's looking like we might not get a pass rusher, I think we're either going to get an offensive lineman in Andrew Thomas or a linebacker in Isaiah Simmons. We should definitely target pass rusher in free agency. Right now, we know Shaq Barrett is going to be a free agent. We know Yannick, or at least Yannick should be a free agent from the Jaguars. There's other guys out there. I can actually pull up the list right now. Or, you know, you guys could put in the chat. I could check out pass rushing free agents right now. DeMarcus Lawrence? What? Cowboy X Factor. Isn't DeMarcus Lawrence signed? According to Bleacher Report, he should be a oh, this is an old, my bad. This is an old article. My bad, guys. That's my fault. That is an old article. Let's see. Vic Beasley might be a free agent. You could probably go after him. Shaq Lawson from Buffalo, I like him. He's very underrated in my opinion. You could go after him. Robert Quinn. Oh. X Factor, is Robert Quinn indeed a free agent this year? Krez says, I'm thinking we should draft like Andrew Thomas and then a linebacker because we're lacking in that linebacker position. I agree with you. We are lacking in that linebacker position. We have some nice surprises in guys like David Mayo, who I would love to keep on. He's been doing great this year considering what he was before. I think he's a great, third option at that linebacker position. Very good backup. I don't know if he's starter material, but I would love to keep David Mayo on. And I loved Ryan Connolly when he was healthy and when he was performing. I have to see how he develops. All things considered, next year would essentially be his rookie year, if we're going to be honest, because he missed 99% of his actual rookie year. So we'll see how Ryan Connolly develops. But those are really the only two guys in our middle linebacking core that I have any type of confidence in. If we're talking about also like outside linebackers, kind of sad to see that Lorenzo Carter didn't really develop at all this year. He basically stayed where he was. That could be the sophomore slump. Maybe it's just who he is. We'll see. O'Shane Ximines was a nice surprise. I liked him coming out of college. I didn't think we would get him at all. Otherwise, I would put him in some of my mock drafts. I thought he would have been gone by the 3rd round. But I like what I saw out of O'Shane. Hopefully he does develop and he doesn't stay stagnant like Lorenzo did this year. And of course, my favorite linebacker this year was Marcus Golden because he was a very low risk, very high reward player. And it paid off. He got us 10 sacks. And he's somebody I'm definitely going to look into bringing back. But, getting back to this pass rushing free agency list, Robert Quinn, if he indeed is available, I would not mind getting him. Yannick Ngakoue should be out there. Marcus Golden, as I said, I would love to re-sign him. And, yeah, that's about it. Let me check outside linebacker. Dante Fowler might be free, but he kind of underperforms. Jadeveon Clowney might be free. Shaq Barrett, as I said. Yeah, so, the names I'll really be looking at would be Shaq Barrett, Jadeveon Clowney, maybe a Terrell Suggs, maybe, guys. No, maybe he's too old. But maybe a Dante Fowler. And then guys like Robert Quinn, if he is indeed free. Shaq Lawson, Vic Beasley. But I would really target pass rusher because I don't think we're going to have a chance to get one in the draft. I think we should draft Andrew Thomas and then draft all defense all 7 rounds, to be honest. I'm with you on that one, but we need a new left tackle, which Andrew Thomas would solve. We'll then need a new center also because I think we would shift Nate Solder to right tackle. So you know what? Let's draft Andrew Thomas the 1st round and then go all defense in the center the other 7 rounds, bro. I'm with you there, Michael. Dexter Lawrence and Darius Slayton were steals in the draft. Darius Slayton was definitely a steal. Dexter Lawrence, and I said this in my draft recap video, I was one of the only people that loved the Dexter Lawrence pick. I just want to put that out there, tooting my horn a bit. But when we picked Dexter Lawrence, I was very happy. And he wasn't more so a steal as he kind of fell into our lap because people forgot that there was a lot of mocks having Dexter Lawrence actually go like within the top 10. And for some reason, you know what? It's just because he was drafted to the Giants, people started hating on him when we got him at 17. Like, that's really the only thing I could think about. He all of a sudden went from a top 10 pick to on draft night when we got him at 17. Oh, he's not that good. Oh, he doesn't stuff the run. He can't really do anything in the pass rushing scene. Like, it appears they forget this guy is a great pocket collapser. And as we've seen many times this year, he's great at the line of scrimmage with batting down balls. You know what I'm saying? That entire Clemson line was amazing. And all of a sudden, he comes to the Giants and there's hate. But I agree with you. Darius Slayton was a complete steal, which is why I don't want to go at all for wide receiver. I think our wide receiver core is good right now. And Dexter Lawrence, I would say more so he fell into our lap, bro. Thank God we got him. He fell into our lap, to be honest with you. Let's switch. Obviously, you could continue the talking Giants. I love talking Giants, but right now I'm gonna just switch this image file. Let's get talking a little bit about Seahawks and Packers. Alright, the image should be up now. Seahawks Packers, guys. Like I said, we could continue talking Giants. I got no problem with it. But Seahawks Packers, what do you guys think about this? These are two teams, in my opinion, that really completely overachieved this season. Be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. The Packers, I don't know how they got. They're the first overall seed in the NFC, right? Or is it the 49ers? Wherever the case is, I don't know how in the world they got it. Something about their offense is fishy. And while their defense is good, I definitely think they overperformed a little bit. Seahawks all day, says Krez. I would agree with you. I have more faith in the Seahawks just because they're a way more stable organization over the past decade. They're a way better presence defensive-wise. They have a better coach. You know, their team is actually more experienced in the playoffs. I would definitely go with Seahawks. Raf says, Seahawks versus Packers is the toughest game to pick. I'll go Packers since Russell Wilson hasn't won in Lambeau. That's a very nice fact that I didn't know, and that's a very good point. The Packers do have home field advantage. Lambeau Field is a tough place to play, mostly because of the weather, and I think it's going to be very cold this weekend. I saw something like it's supposed to be like 23 degrees or below 20, you know, if the wind chill comes in. So it's going to be very tough to play up there. The Seahawks do play in cold weather also. They are pretty far up north. But Wilson hasn't won in Lambeau. You know, that's a good point. I just don't feel like that would be a good enough reason for them to lose, because they play in pretty tough weather also, and it's not like crowd noise is a problem for them. You know, they do play in the Beastquake game. They did play there. They do play in the loudest stadium in the NFL. So, you know what? But it is a fickle thing in football games, home field advantage. So I'll give that to you. I can see the Seahawks losing. But I pick the Seahawks. I think they'll win just because they're the more experienced team, more stable team, all that. And is it just me? It can't be me, right? Like, does anybody else in the chat right now think that the Packers offense is very fishy and that it's just, it works, but like it shouldn't work? Like, maybe it's just me. There is indeed a first to everything, Krez. Like, I don't know how to describe it, man. Like, Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like Aaron Rodgers in that offense. Like, even the running back, like, though Aaron Jones, he's like, 14th in the league in rushing, but it works. Maybe I'm just seeing something new and I'm not understanding it, but I don't trust that Packers offense. Krez says he sees it. Raf, what do you think? Michael hopes the Seahawks win. Nice. I would want them to win also, to be honest with you. I mean, like, I have no stock in the game. Like, there's no reason for me to hope one team wins and the other doesn't. But, yeah. Raf says, the Packers offense doesn't have an identity. Aaron Rodgers was best suited in the Mike McCarthy offense, and that is the truth if anybody ever spoke it. Straight up, they may have had their problems, all right? And Mike McCarthy is definitely a big part of that problem. You know, both of them, you could put the blame equally. But when they worked together, they worked beautifully. And Aaron Rodgers looks right only in the Mike McCarthy offense. I completely agree with you there. He doesn't look like himself in the Matt LaFleur offensive scheme. You know what I'm saying? He kind of looks like a game manager a little bit that occasionally goes deep. That's just me. And then, once again, the run game thing, man, they like barely use Aaron Jones at all. It's like, they have a run game, but it's not a noticeable impact. I would want the Seahawks to win, but it's like I said, I don't have any stock in it. It's just that I guess I just like the Seahawks more. If I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, if the Seahawks win, they would go up against, like, my dream NFC Championship matchup for this year would be Vikings-Seahawks. That would be very interesting to see. I would love to see just like two wildcard teams go all the way. Uh, but what do I think is gonna happen? That's what I want to happen. What do I think is gonna happen? Yeah, I think it's gonna be like I think the Packers are gonna win. That Lambeau Field thing really did flip a switch in my head. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It is a very difficult place to win in. It is indeed. And if the Smith brothers can get to Russell Wilson consistently throughout the game, it's not out of the picture that the Packers will win because their offensive line is still very suspect. So there's that. If I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think that's exactly what it's come down to, man. Offensive line versus that Packers defensive line, which is a strange thing to think about, because the last time they met up, it was really the Seahawks defense versus the Packers offense. It's funny to see how things change in like very little amount of time. I would take Packers Vikings NFC Championship or Seahawks 49ers. Both would be epic games, and I agree with you. Two the divisional, not divisional, NFC East. Yeah, two divisional rivals. That would be pretty dope, to be honest with you. And it's funny how to see in the NFC East, the four teams remaining are either from the NFC West or the NFC North. So it would be great to see those matchups going forward. It's definitely would be epic. That's playoff football right there. Just those two matchups. Seahawks 49ers, I would be way more happy to see, man. Just because this year and historically they've always had just a great rivalry, great clash of the teams. That would be an amazing NFC Championship to see again. Because wasn't that it in 2013? Let me check. I could be wrong, but the 2013 NFC Championship was Seahawks 49ers, right? Yup, it was indeed Seahawks 49ers. Huh. Go figure. It would be cool to see that again. What, like 7 years later? Did I go through everything or am I missing it? I am indeed missing a game. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans. Let me just get this picture up real quick and we'll move on to that because I have to leave soon. But Chiefs versus Texans. This is going to be an interesting one. Let me just find a nice picture here. Uh, Bet. There we go. Picture should be up. Chiefs Texans. I can't believe I forgot about this game. This might be the most exhilarating game this weekend. Not necessarily the most interesting, but definitely in the running for the most epic, or the most exhilarating. As I said, bro, Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, draft mates. Two quarterbacks that are still argued about which one is better between the two. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think about this matchup before I get into it? Michael says, I hope Packers lose because their fans been talking so much crap. They're just like the 49ers fans this year. I hope they both lose so I can talk so much smack about their teams losing. Well, I haven't seen them talking smack, but if they are, bro, I'm going to take your word for it, Michael. And I love shutting teams' fans up. I mean, we face it all the time with the Eagles, us being Giants fans and whatnot, man. So, yeah, if they actually been talking smack, why not? Why not? And especially they don't really should they should really shouldn't be talking smack because like I said, almost everybody could see that their team is phony. So why not, man? Why not? Personally though, y'all already know I just said it. I would love the Vikings and the Seahawks to win because they're the wild card teams. That would be very cool to see, a wild card team go all the way. I love that. Alright, so Texans versus Chiefs. This right here, Chiefs defense is still suspect. I was up earlier this morning. I think I saw it on either Good Morning Football or like the only NFL shows I watch anymore. Like I can't watch anything on ESPN anymore just because dudes like or even Fox Sports 1 and I used to love Undisputed, but they're all the same, just looking for like clicks and headlines. I just watch NFL Network and that's because they actually have like they have former players on there and stuff, and they're not former players that are looking for headlines. They're actually talking their opinion most of the time. There's still some of the time you get the stuff that I hate. But they were saying on NFL Network how the Chiefs had a good defense, and I'm like, have I been watching the wrong football or something? The Chiefs defense, while it improved towards the end of the season, is still a bad defense. Or I don't know what any stats say, but they're not going to be stopping Deshaun Watsons and Nuke Hopkins and Kenny Stills and all that. Raf says I think the Chiefs win 34-31. Their defense has been playing much better. Plus they have this is exactly what I was talking about. They have momentum going into playoffs. Michael says I hope Deshaun Watson wins, but I know Patrick Mahomes got a better team. Raf, like I said, I know the Chiefs defense got better, but they're not. I don't think they're good enough to fully stop Deshaun Watson. If anything, I think it's going to be a shootout game. You know what I mean? Because the Texans defense, they're not as great as they used to be either. That's another point I got to make. J.J. Watt had to have what was a miracle game last week to get the spark back into the Texans. The Texans defense is not the 2014 Texans defense. They're very much a fringe top 10 defense in the sense that they're more so average than they are great. And that's basically the two types of defenses we got out here. And the Texans, they have better pass rushers, and that's really all that they have. When you compare the defenses, head to head, they have a better pass rush, and if they can get to Patrick Mahomes, maybe that's something. But what I'm looking at is that it will come down to a shootout, and you definitely could say that it's without a doubt the Chiefs have a better offense than Texans. But Deshaun Watson got that if factor, and it seems that he has a little magic about him, that this is still a toss-up for me. But I completely hear where you're coming from, Raf. Chiefs win 34-31 because their defense has steadily improved. I still think it's suspect. But it has steadily improved. What about you, Michael? If Krez is still in here, what do you think? And if X Factor is still in here, what do you think about this game? Mike says, I feel like this message has been there and I just didn't see it. I hope Deshaun Watson wins, but Patrick Mahomes got the better team. That is true. He even has a better offensive line. He has a way better offensive line. Watson, God forbid, knock on wood or something. That's not even wood. That was metal. I got a wood coaster right here. Knock on wood. Watson, I'm surprised this dude has not been injured again yet, just because of how terrible his offensive line is. And man, oh man, I mean that's really the plan against the Texans. That's what the Bills did. That's why the Bills were dominating, absolutely dominating, like 3/4 of that game last week. They were getting to Watson, and if they weren't getting to him, they were having good coverage on his receivers, and they were stifling that offense. And like I said, the Texans defense weren't doing anything until the fourth quarter either. It took a miracle game a really like a resurgence of JJ Watt to get this team back into the game. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, Texans could very well lose. But like I said, the Chiefs ain't that hot either. The Chiefs defense, while improved, is still suspect, and Deshaun could still, still throw all over that defense. And the offense, while really good, their running game is what I have to see improve for them to make anything. Raph says, I would say Watson is more clutch than Mahomes because Mahomes has lost a lot of primetime games in the past 2 seasons. Has he now? I did not know that. Mahomes has lost a lot of primetime games in the past 2 seasons. What time is this game being played at? I'm assuming you're saying that because it might be a later game. Let's see. This is being played in the afternoon, 3:05. So, unless you're talking about, the timing of it, or maybe you're just talking about big time games, I don't see how that would really affect them, Raph, the primetime games losses, because it is being played in the afternoon. Maybe it goes into the night a little bit, but I'd say this game is ended at like 7 the latest, maybe 7:30 Eastern time, that is. And when it comes to big time games, he did win big time games last year. He beat the Colts last year in the divisional round and whatnot, so he has won big time games, but I don't really see how that primetime stat would really affect him. Michael says, Deshaun Watson is MJ of the NFL. I heard that comparison a lot on the broadcast last week during the game, and I'm going to just hold off on that yet because he's only been in here for like 3 seasons, guys. Let's calm down a little bit. It's only been 3 seasons. He hasn't even won a ring yet. MJ is a very, very big comparison. Let's just calm that down a bit. Let him get like 2 rings first before we start saying that. Bum-ba-dum. Any last thoughts, guys? I'm going to have to cut off soon. Probably got like a minute or 2 left. I mean, personally for me, I just want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to Michael, Raph, Krez, Cowboy X Factor, and Midwest Sports, who was in here for a little bit. Thank you to anybody that watched but didn't comment or didn't talk. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. This was my very first stream, and at one point we did hit my goal of 5 viewers. It's nice to see you guys turn out on a very unannounced thing and a very iffy stream that I was still trying to figure out how to get the chat working and all that. You guys mean a lot to me. You guys are the reason I make my videos and continue to make my videos. I hope these become a bit more prevalent in the future, these streams and whatnot. Those are my last thoughts. If you guys have any last thoughts, please put them down below. Raph says, great stream, man. Keep working on your channel. Thank you, Raphael. I intend to do that. Eventually, I intend to buy a good webcam, one that could have some good quality resolution on the recording, and I'm gonna try to incorporate my face a bit more in my videos. And also, I'll see if that's what the channel wants. Some people just prefer the podcast style. But thank you, Raph. Thank you once again to everybody. It's been great. I guess this is where I ended off, man. I'm out.